does the dirty work, grinding out. He's been playing with the knee since, I think it was a Carolina game. So he's, it's, anytime you see a player hit, an annual milestone, it's obviously a positive. And, but I think in the big picture of things, he needed that. We needed it, and it was good to get, our sixth win in the division coming in here tonight.
Dak came off the field, and you heard him say to somebody, okay, the real stuff starts now.
Yeah.
Is that the message that you kind of go with the team?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the message was really when when this plane touches down in Dallas, that's the starting line. This is what we've been talking about since April. We've had goals, all along. We've hit the goals. 12 wins in a season is a good year, but more importantly, it's difficult to put yourself in a good position any year, and so we just want to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. Just playing on Saturday night. Obviously, I think we get back at 4 in the morning, so just really starting the process of rest and recovery and being ready to go. We'll find out who we play tomorrow. The coaches have already done the forecasting work and things like that, so we'll be ready for the players on Monday. But yeah, this is how we view it. We view this as the starting line.
Mike, in the locker room after the game, did you feel the energy of what you thought you accomplished to continue the rhythm of the season?
It was good energy, but it was not. I think it was expected. I think once the game started, everybody was dialed into. Obviously you play to win, but I think that the conversation, frankly, started on the sidelines there at the end of the game. It's, this is the position that we've worked to put ourselves in, and more importantly is make sure we take full advantage of it.
When Michael Gallup went down with injury last week, that kind of opened the door for Cedric Wilson to get back to that number 3 spot. Can you just speak to how he? Yeah,
I mean Cedric's a hell of a football player. You look not only what he does on offense, but what he does on special teams, and I mean he's former quarterback. He plays like a quarterback. He's he does all does a lot of the little things and the details. Very intelligent player, very instinctive, very aware. So yeah, I thought he had an excellent night tonight.
Kellen also said he was an intelligent player. How does that show up when you guys evaluate him? Cedric being an intelligent player, how does that manifest based on his routes?
Well, his utilization. I think like anything, when you're you may not get as many opportunities as the other guys, but when it does, just to go in there and you never miss a beat. I mean, he can play any position. He can play the X, the F to Z. So does the things out of the backfield, the deceptive plays. So I mean, he has a very large menu.
You had all the changes with the Eagles. Obviously, you had some changes. What did you learn about some of the young guys?
Well, I was proud of him. I love the way our young guys. Nation Wright. He had his shoulder there early and just bounced right back and went right back in. Didn't even miss a play. KJ Calvin and Joseph, I thought he played, super competitive. Our 2 running backs, gosh, just so happy for Jaquan and Ito. They got in there and they looked like they were shot out of a gun. So, I mean, it's when you see your young guys jump in there. I mean, Corey Clements, had a big day. So I think we're up over 20 plus people that have touchdowns in one season. That's super impressive, and that's really what you want to be. And I think that's when we talk about the offense is built around making the quarterback successful and have the ability to spread it around on offense, and the guys on special teams and defense have the ability to put the ball in the end zone. So it was a very productive year. We feel good about what we accomplished, but like we said, we have our eye, we have our goals are on bigger things.
What do you think of Dak tonight and him breaking the team record for touchdown passes?
I just think it's a hell of a year for a guy that was in a slump. I mean, I just think it was a joke. So, but I think he's I think he's special. I mean, he's a special man. He has tremendous leadership ability. So, hopefully he'll get some recognition for how he plays the game on the field. So he's so consistent as an approach, and what's exciting is we have a lot of growth in front of us. In him in particular too. So because he's still a young quarterback that has a lot of excellent football in front of him.
In addition to Dak, setting the Romo's record, or passing Romo, he scored more points than any team in franchise in the same season. Obviously, has a different guy to score as many touchdowns as anybody in the NFL's new NFL record. Does all that matter? I mean, how do you feel about those type of records? What does that say?
I mean, they're nice records, you know, and just from history, you know, it's. I think those are things when you sit down at the end of the journey, you look back, you say, boy, that was a hell of a year, and you look at those moments. But you know, like we started this, you know, this interview, you know, we view this as the starting line. We've put ourselves in position. Our goal is always to be in the tournament, so we'll see exactly where we end up. Come tomorrow night, and you know, most importantly, is it's difficult to get in this spot. It's difficult to win 12 games, but you know, most importantly is we take advantage of this opportunity.
All right, there's Mike McCarthy, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys 12-5. They finished the season, and the playoffs start next week. We're getting started on talking about the playoffs. Of course, this game with you at 877-881-1053. 877-881-1053 with Brian Broaddus. I'm Ari Tepkin. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboy Nation, really appreciate everybody for jumping in. All right, so with that beat of information, it's always wonderful for us to get here. Thank those who watch the channel. Thank those who tune in. And if you're watching all the way to this point and you have not hit that like button, share this content.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Come on now, y'all got to hit that like and share this content. Sweep, yeah, I need to see some sweep emojis, blue hearts up in the chat. I need to see that. Fire, fire, fire. Let's see all of that positive energy. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. At the end of the day, if you think that this game didn't mean anything to the Eagles, I want you guys to rewind all the way to the first quarter on my previous video. And just sit there and watch the comments that's on my left here. You know what I'm saying? On your right, on your screen. So I really want you guys to do that, you know, because that's just how I go. Because they always pivot and they move the goalposts. And I get it. The national media is going to move the goalposts. They're going to say, well, can the Cowboys do this against above 500 team? Oh, this was above 500 team. Oh, this should count, by the way, against a playoff team. I don't care. I don't want to care because I don't care about all of the other stuff because I literally seen the Patriots go through a whole decade of doing this right now, what we just did against their division, and not one word was mentioned. I've literally seen 3 Super Bowls by the Patriots. They getting all the way to the Super Bowl, and it was won by the kicker. The kicker, Cowboy Nation, you know. But at the end, people forget about that, and all of the glory goes to the quarterback. But at this point, the only negative that I can say about this game was the kicker. He missed the kick. So he's going to have to correct that. He definitely going to have to correct that next week. You know, he definitely going to have to improve on that, Cowboy Nation, and these situations as it relates to that. As it relates to that. Shout out to everybody that's watching. The Cowboys are 12-5. Let me repeat, the Cowboys are 12-5. Oh, let's talk about this too. The team that we lost to, the Kansas City Chiefs, can somebody put their record down? Can somebody put their record down? Because all I'm going to hear is, you know, Cowboys had a bum season. You would think that we are 5-12. We're 12-5. You know, I love it. Washington won 4 straight games, 2 50 burgers. Yeah, you know, at the end of their 4 straight games. Hey, all we got to do now, Cowboy Nation, is go on this spree now. All we got to do now is go on this spree. So the Chiefs are 12-5. I don't have to say no more, Cowboy Nation. I don't have to say any more. But I get it, you know, people going to praise them, denigrate us. They're gonna lift them up and say, hey, they didn't have this. They're gonna give the bevy of excuses for them. But they're gonna pretty much ridicule us. You know, I was looking at a certain stat line. I don't have time to pull it up, but shout out to my guy Jay Tuck. I think he got it on his page, and he might have made the illustration. Yeah, Devil Dog said the kicker concerns him. Well, newsflash, you ain't the only one at this point. It concerns me as well. I'm a little worried about the kicker though, just to be 100. But all you got to do is just look up Jalen Ramsey first 2 years. Look up Jalen Ramsey first 2 years, even with the yards given up. Look at his first 2 years and look at what my guy Trayvon Diggs did in his first 2 years. And let me know who's on top. One is considered the greatest thing since sliced bread. The other is considered pure luck. True Blue says Greg is struggling. Yep. His kicks was a little low. But what the Cowboys are banking on, the collective offense to play and score. Shout out to you, Mike Brown. Ho, what's up? Like, Mike Brown, what's good with you, man? Law, it's okay. We're going to be greedy. You know, is that be greedy or we're going to be ready? You know, what's up? What's up? Shout out to you, Steven. Yeah.
I want me some glory hole.
Shout out to you, East Camden. At least you came back, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Right, almost here.
36. And if you're listening to this thinking, oh, well, Dak did it in more games. No, he didn't. He, of course, missed that Vikings game, so he did it in the same amount of games as Romo in 2007. 37 touchdown passes for Dak Prescott. 12 touchdowns and 0 picks in his last 3. So, I mean, it is sort of interesting how Mike McCarthy, when we just heard him talk, made the joke, the quirk about, oh, it's pretty not a bad season for a guy in a slump. Ha, 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 ha. But it is sort of weird, brought us to look at this quarterback and evaluate him to think of how, quote-unquote, bad the season's been for him, and yet he sets a franchise record for touchdown passes. It's been up and down.
Yeah, I think that you go back and, you know, there was probably some things that took him back after the calf injury. You know, you wanted to believe that maybe that there were 3-4 games that he wasn't, you know, it was a struggle for him to come back. There were some times when you watched him throw the ball, the mobility, things like that he was kind of throwing a little bit flat-footed, wouldn't be able to drive like he normally would. And so, you know, you anticipated that. And, you know, and to me, that's kind of where, you know, it's really kind of been a tale of two seasons. You know, the last several weeks, probably a little bit better with some of his things. You know, the fact that he was able to run a little bit more. We've seen him. It looks like the mobility is a little bit better. I'm not saying the guy was hurt, but I'm just saying there were things that he was trying to play through. And I think there was some confidence issues with his offensive line. I think that, you know, I think he was really happy with Connor Williams being put back into the lineup at left guard. You know, now you haven't played really all that much you've been playing not that much with Tyron Smith. You know, hopefully that will help him a little bit more next week as you get ready for the playoffs. But yeah, it's been there's always been one or two things along the road that I think have given Dak Prescott some trouble. And tonight I felt like that he threw the ball a little bit better anticipation. Some of those throws down the middle of the field, a little bit cleaner pocket, a little bit more ability to step up. Wasn't having to throw balls over the top and hope for the best, or, you know, where we've seen him throw balls in the middle of the field, and that seems where the interceptions and things like that tend to happen. But receivers did a good job of getting where they needed to be. I'm sure you'll probably hear it, you know, this week from the general manager that the routes were probably run at the proper depth. And Dak and them were able to take advantage of it. But it looked like a much cleaner pocket for him and his ability to step up and make some throws.
Yeah, I mean, look, this was an adverse season for Dak. There's really no sugarcoating the ups and downs it's had. You know, you could.
They ran the ball,
Mike McCarthy could joke about the slump. Oh, this guy's in a slump. He just set the single season franchise record for touchdown passes. But I mean, he had some gaudy statistical games, and he had some statistical games that were really bad, and that's what will happen. I mean, I think it's the confidence internally. Like, we can look at this and say, so what? He did this against a shell of the Eagles defense. So what? He did this against a football team that's not very good a couple of weeks, right? Like we could sit here and say, so what? Except that the internal confidence that Dak Prescott is building, that matters, and the what he's feeling between the ears, that matters more than anything else. If Dak Prescott has been building up his own confidence over the last 3 games, throwing 12 touchdown passes without a pick, it doesn't matter that they haven't played anybody and that the defense they've been playing, that doesn't matter. It's all about that internal confidence between the ears that Dak Prescott is talking about.
I think that if you look at the games that he has struggled, and it really, he had if you look again after the Minnesota game, which he missed, he had 212 yards. He had 194 against Kansas City. If they had any offense in the Kansas City game, they might have won that one. 231 against the Saints, 201 against the football team. With that when he threw the interception late in the game.
Yeah, that was a game they should have dominated. They only ended up winning by 8.
203 against the Giants. I mean, he's had games where he hasn't. 256 against. There's been some, and I think the bottom line through all that is that some pretty good defensive teams right there.
Yeah,
and that's where I think that you look at Dak Prescott and you kind of say, okay, well, hey, he set the touchdown record and all that, and congratulations, but. Okay, when you break it down against the really good defensive teams, and you think about that, and I look at the Patriots game, where he threw for like 445 yards in that game, and that's kind of the last time we remember like that Dak Prescott,
the dominant
MVP. He was in the conversation and all that. So he's had some games this season where, they haven't had to throw the ball great because early in the season they were running the ball great. Like I mentioned in the pregame, this offense gets 7 less first downs a game in that second half of the season. From what they were averaging 27 first downs a game.
So substantial.
Yeah.
7 in a game is unbelievable.
7 first downs less a game. So, and is it on a lack of a running game? Sure. I think that's the thing that really has hurt Dak Prescott the absolute most. And I think the indecisions with him throwing the ball and, how many sacks he took at the line of scrimmage, near the line of scrimmage. I think he's more comfortable now with if he has to run, he can do that. So, maybe things will turn around for this team, but there is some times where you look back and not necessarily his best games have been against teams with pretty good defenses.
Here is Dak Prescott with ESPN after the game.
Dak, you said tonight was about getting into a rhythm heading into the playoffs. What progress did you make into getting that rhythm that you want?
Yeah, we got some momentum going. Able to score some touchdowns on offense. Just had some success running the ball, throwing the ball. And more importantly, just as you said, the momentum and just the rhythm and fun. The camaraderie we had, we just played together. Wanted to finish the season off the right way, and I think we did that in all facets of the game.
I remember speaking to Zeke earlier in the week and him saying that the offense had been struggling. He felt that the offense had been struggling a little bit. Just what felt good to you tonight?
Yeah, we had everything we did for the most part was a success. We got some positive yards in the run game, able to get the ball out to some different guys, got everybody involved, got some new guys to score a touchdown, and that was big.
Yeah, with Michael Gallup out for the rest of the season, what did Cedric Wilson show you tonight?
Yeah, Ced stepped up, but that he's done that all year long. Anytime his number's called, we're going to need him for this run, and he's a great player for us.
For you personally, Dak, a career high 5 touchdown passes. You set the Cowboys single season touchdown pass mark with 37. Just a year ago, you were rehabbing your way back from that horrible injury. Just what does it mean to you to be rolling the way you're rolling and playing the way you're playing right now?
It's special, but that record like that's this team, that's this offense. All the different guys that caught passes, the guys that protected, everybody played a part in it, and I'm just the beneficiary of it. But to know where I was a year ago, to be where we are now, heading to the playoffs, very excited.
Next week is go time. Just how much do you want to see Arizona again? Maybe another shot at them?
It doesn't matter. Line them up. To get to where we got to go, we want to beat the best, and you've got to beat the best. So whoever it is, wherever it is, we're ready for this run.
Thanks, Dak. Congratulations on the win. Good luck in the playoffs.
Thank you.
All right, there's Dak Prescott telling Lisa Salters of ESPN. Doesn't matter who they play, and we'll discuss that coming up a little later on.
Baby.
Home to over 8,500 of your favorite electronic games, more than 1,000 table game seats, and 1,400 luxury hotel rooms. It's all.
Line them up, and I can't think of another way that you can respond to that. Just line them up, lace them up. Get to it. Win the game. That's the name of the game. Play your brand of football. Balanced football, by the way. Balance that thing out. And when I was looking at that chart sheet, I know you guys saw it. And let me go over here to the Cowboys side of things. Corey had 7 attempts for 58 yards. Woo! He was running that thing. And Hardy, he ran that thing too. And I apologize. I said Cooper Rush had 2 touchdowns, but he got him to the red zone. And these two boys, Hardy and Ito Smith, both had a touchdown in the end there. So 26 yards for Hardy and 4 yards for Smith. And they all did their thing out there. But shout out to Amari Cooper. He had 7 targets. And I know all of last game, right, in 1 attempts. But that was like the duration of the game. You can tell the focal point on Amari Cooper was him today because he had those 7 targets, believe it or not. Although he caught the ball 5 times, he had those 7 targets in the first half. So I love seeing that, they kind of rest him out in the second. But Wilson, he played a hell of a game, Cowboy Nation. So let's give a round of applause to Wilson. Give a round of applause to that brother. And what I don't want you guys to become creatures of not creatures of habit, but I don't want you guys to get ill. Ill feeling of Jarwin's stat line, right? 1 reception for 6 yards. But what he do when he's in the lineup, he stresses the defense. And I know that they playing against JV or what have you. But he stresses the defense enough so that they have to carry their guy up the field. And 9 times out of 10, what they do is when you have that mismatch, somebody who's a tight end who run routes like a wide receiver, instead of an extra linebacker, you put in an extra safety. When there's an extra safety, you can run the ball a little bit more efficiently. And when they was in zone defense, shout out to Kellen Moore, not necessarily a scheme, but you do exactly what you need to do is run the rock. That's the difference. That's the difference right there. Let me see if they're still on commercial break. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? It's still on commercial break. So y'all get what I'm saying, and I'm not saying that the way we won today against the JV team, if they want to use it that way, is not sufficient enough to do it against a superior team. But it is, because it's the same principle. You play your brand of football. You play your style of football. And before anybody say, okay, JV team versus the non-JV team, so Cowboys whooped both of them. In the first start of the season, we beat the bejesus out of their starting team, right? And now we beat the bejesus out of their JV team. So we beat both of them, So run, Lemieux. He said, run the ball, yeah. Run the ball, baby. Make it such that when you look at the big throw, when they play in the single high safety, Cedric Wilson can eat. It's one-on-one to the outside now, right? Oh, my goodness. The confidence meter is now up. Even when they do play the zone situation, he's already in rhythm. And, excuse me, they played more sweeps this game. Yeah, shout out to you, Paul, for bringing it up. APJ said, thanks to Blake Jarwin. Yeah, with 1 reception for 6 yards. But what I'm saying is that even if you just put him out there to be the decoy. One can argue in this game, when we look at everything, and they're still on commercial break, that you can say, well, Lamb was the decoy. It don't matter. Focus in on 2 receivers, make one your decoy. Focus in on only one of the tight end, make the other one your decoy. That could be a scheme, believe it or not. That could be a strategy. Shout out to you, East Camden, with the laughs. Because, both teams will play next week. Both teams play next week, so we'll find out who is which and which is who, We'll find out, man, Cowboy Nation. I really appreciate you guys for jumping in. Cowboys for life, appreciate you for jumping in. E, shout out to you. Let me see some blue hearts. Let me see some fire emojis. If you know how to do the sweep, let me see the sweep broom emoji in the chat. I can't wait to see that. Oh, and excuse me, tell me where you guys are from. The key, the secret sauce to it is run the ball. Run the ball. Run the ball. 51 leg piece. You got the drumette set, BD. who got the thighs? Who got the thighs set, baby? Who got the thighs? Who had the drumettes? Who had the breasts? Somebody ate the beak. Who ate the beak around here? y'all some Game of Thrones type of hungry, right? Shout out to you, Solo. Appreciate you for jumping in. What would have happened to us to get what was the rest of that? What would have happened for us to get the second seed? What's wrong with this? I know what I got to do. I got to refresh it so we can see it all. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Appreciate you guys for jumping in. Thank you guys for being part of this episode. Be sure to hit that like button, share this content. We about to listen to some more audio from 105.3 The Fan.
I'm in Philadelphia
Brad
with
Sham
us.
is live.
What's going on, Brad? How are you?
I'm well. How are you boys?
I know if y'all can hear that.
Well, so Dak Prescott, 5 touchdown passes. He eclipses Tony Romo's record of 36 with 37 touchdown passes this season, so a franchise record for Dak. What is your confidence level in the Cowboys quarterback, considering how he'd played really in that second half of the season?
Oh, it's pretty high. I mean, the things that the last, I would say, 3 or 4 weeks, when they have not done well offensively, a lot of people want to put that all on Dak, and I don't. And there are some things he could have done better. He needed to play better, and there's some things around him that needed to be better also. And but my confidence level in him is pretty high.
Let's first pause 10 seconds for Sheikh's identification. Listen to the Dallas Cowboys.
No doubt, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. They go into a quick commercial break. Appreciate you guys for jumping in. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Pull that up right there. Let's go.
I wanted to say, when watching Dak throw the ball tonight, I saw a little bit more anticipation with some of those throws down the middle. We've talked about, maybe that he wasn't throwing guys open, and maybe they were struggling a little bit with that. From your spot in the booth, did you feel like that he took the shots, before guys were breaking and threw the ball a little bit better that way?
Whether he was doing it before they were breaking, Brian, I'm not sure, but I do know that I felt like he was doing very much what he wanted to do. I thought they had 2 big plays, as they did against, I think it was Washington, on free plays.
Yes.
And as soon as he sees that, he knows exactly what he wants to do, and he does it. And they had big gains on both of those plays. And I thought he anticipated well, and
knows that
Wilson
his team can't win.
Certainly helped him by running good routes. Lamb made a couple of nice catches, and I just thought he looked in command tonight. He didn't look indecisive. He looked like he knew exactly what he wanted to do with every situation, and pretty much was able to do it.
Brad, flip it over on the defensive side of the ball. Looked like there was some shoddy, I'm going to say, run fits tonight, and maybe some poor tackling along the way by some guys that are going to play in these playoff games. Was my eyes deceiving me, or is that really what was going on tonight?
Well, as you well know, you and I both believe that we'll need to look at the tape to know about the fits.
Yeah.
I don't think there was shoddy tackling from the outset. There was a little bit later. I did not like the way the defense played against the Eagles' second offense for the first quarter and a half.
Sure.
And I thought it was a closer game than it needed to be. Now, that's not the team that you're going to roll out there next week. Lawrence played a quarter and a half. Gregory didn't come back in except on third down, and then he came out early. You didn't have Parsons, and you didn't have your starting corners, and blah blah blah. I think there were at least 2 big runs. I think watching tape will tell us, Brian, but I think there were 2 pretty good runs that came when Kelvin Joseph didn't hold the edge, and you can chalk some of that up to inexperience. But he did do some good things. I mean, I think you have to give him a little slack for how little he's played, and he definitely shows up. So, I mean, I think that they will play better with all their people, and they have to, because that first quarter and a half, that was not the Eagles' first offensive line.
No.
It was their second-team line. They didn't need to be pushed around like they were there for a couple of series.
Brad, you had another situation, too, with a missed extra point. Is what it is, or Are we looking? We're just
Where you were a scout? You were in personnel.
I know, and we had Steve Hoffman when I was scouting for the Cowboys to go get a kicker, and Steve would go down to Walmart and he would get 10 guys in the parking lot, and then one of those guys would be an All-Pro. Okay, that's kind of how that
Hoffman
went.
And Hoffman had the corner on the market, and that is literally why they changed kickers every 3 years.
Sure,
because they would never pay Lynn Elliott or Maxwell or whoever the guy, or Cunningham. They would never pay him because they literally said, so Hoffman, go find us another one.
Yeah.
And he always did. And so Hoffman doesn't live here anymore.
Right.
And you're in January, and I don't think, as I said during the broadcast, as Bill Parcells would say, you can't go down to the Texaco and call 1-800-KICKER.
Yeah.
You're not going to find one. So it is what it is, and you're going to have to live with it.
I mean, is this a problem the Cowboys should have addressed earlier in the season, Brad, in your opinion?
I don't know about that. I don't like all the answers I heard last week about his misses have to do with his back surgery in May.
Sure.
I think we're a little down the road on that. I mean, the irony is, and I said this in my conversation with McCarthy pregame, if you look at the kickers who are in the Hall of Fame, Zerline's got about a 20% better success record this year than those guys did for their career. But that's not the era we're living in now. Now, if you're below 90%, you're average or below average. And he came into the game about 83% on field goals, and he was like 20th. I mean, you just can't. Look, he's had a good career. He's kicked, 10 years? And now he's starting to miss more than he used to miss. He's still making 84% of his field goals.
Don't put that lipstick on that pig, Brad.
But you've got a guy who's missed a lot of extra points, missed like 7 extra points.
Six to this year. Yeah.
You can't. It's demanding. I understand that. We're asking for near perfection, but that's what the best kickers do. And so whether they should have.
Brad, try to put that lipstick
I
on
can
that pig.
understand why earlier in the year they would have said, we know the guy, we know his track record. He did have surgery in May. We're going to give him an opportunity to work himself right back in to be that guy. And you both believe it and talk yourself into believing it. And then you reach a point where you're going to have to live with that. So I don't think I would say, I think it's an easy second guess to say they should have done something earlier. I don't know who they would have gotten who would have been guaranteed to be better. I do think when you go into next season, you better reevaluate it. But we're not anywhere near that. There's playoffs to play, and I think they're going to have to live with this right now.
Is that your biggest concern, Brad, going into the playoffs?
Is that the
one thing that could set you back? I mean, we talk about the run defense and all, and the offense and all that. I mean, I just wonder with how close these games are. That's the only thing that makes me nervous right now.
Well, and I think you're right to be nervous, but the question you just asked me.
I know. It's late. It's been a long day. Sorry about that.
I understand.
What is your biggest concern?
Yeah, what is your biggest concern?
Well, you know, I think that. I think I'm a little bit concerned about everything.
Okay.
And I'm confident about everything. But look, we've seen the offense struggle when it's not playing the East. And they're not playing the East anymore. So the offense is going, they don't have to score 56 points, but I am going to need them to probably push 30, maybe a little more than that. And I need the defense to put consistent. I don't care if they get 6 sacks. I need whoever the passer is. I need him to be disrupted throughout the day. And if it's a running quarterback, I need him to not beat them with his legs. I need them to be prepared for the curveballs that the other team is going to throw.
Right.
And we're talking. I'm going to say a name now that means nothing to this generational audience. but they're going to see Camilo Pascual curveballs now.
I don't know who that is.
They're going to see.
Y'all let me know who that is.
They're going to see Sandy Koufax curveballs.
I know Koufax.
So, your job is to be ready for that. That stuff that the Cardinals threw at you, which good for them. Well, your job is to be able to counter that. And if not, then your season's over.
Yeah.
So until we see that, now I don't know why, Ari, that I have a feeling in my bones that they're going to have a good game next week, whoever they play. And I don't know how far they're going to go. They may lose the first game, but they may win a couple or more. And the problem is we just need to see them do it against a really good team before we say it's not a concern. And that's why I say I'm concerned about everything right now.
Sure. Yeah, well said.
But as we see a game unfold and they handle stuff and they act like a playoff team, then we're going to be less concerned. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Makes all the sense in the world. Brad Sham, thank you as always. Safe travels. We'll talk to you next week at AT&T Stadium, buddy.
All right, fellas. Have a good Sunday. Enjoy your day.
Yeah, you.
Shout out to Brad Shams. Brad Sham, Hall of Fame Brad Sham, baby.
I mean, there's still concern. My biggest concern, honestly, is the kicking situation.
Let's get into that. What is your biggest concern now with this football team as they've completed their 17-game regular season heading into the playoffs? 877-88.
So we'll spin it off. We were asked, what are you guys' biggest concerns? Now, Brad got to stay neutral with it. Of course, I get it. He calls all of the plays for the Cowboys, and Brad is a good guy. I think that he's a Hall of Fame Brad Sham. And we can't really go against with what he's saying. Basically, he's spitting the truth as it relates to the timing of it. Changing out your kicker now, that's almost like knee jerk because you'd have made it all the way to the point that it's the postseason now. When you're supposed to really bring in the level of competition probably was like 6 or 7 weeks ago, right? I believe that this team, the reason why they played the way they played, believe it or not, is because they ran the ball. This team, what makes everything, the juices and everything, the nectar, the sweetness, all of the good stuff, what makes this team operate is running the ball. Remember, Kellen Moore is a derivative. He's a direct descendant almost of Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan if they were to have a baby. They would birth Kellen Moore. I hate to say it in those terms. But if Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan were to just have that football relations, they will birth Kellen Moore. And Kellen Moore need to know, and Dak Prescott too, that we got to establish the run. We got to run the ball. We can't, look, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, you got to continue to do it. 2 yards of cloud of dust, you got to continue to do it. Devil dog inconsistency concerns me. Yeah, we got to look at our next opponent, and even when they go down there and score first, you can't sit there and say, okay, I got to hurry up and get this offense going. You got to go down there and punch it right back and run the ball. Establish, hey, I'm going to put the ball in the belly of Ezekiel Elliott. We make it third and possible, right? Not third and forever. And then run outside more. There you go, big D's. Yeah, run outside more. Yeah. That's what you got to do. And also, I got to take under the consideration. Let me see if I pull this up correctly. Kellen Moore and his beautiful family. Maybe it's a clear mind now. Sometimes you don't feel comfortable until after you relieve yourself. I shouldn't say that. My bad. But you guys get what I'm saying under that analogy there, basically. Sometimes you don't feel comfortable until after you relax a little bit, and after the interview is over with, you're rocking the floor, you're pacing the floor. I'll never forget my first interview with the government. I literally walked a hole in the ground because I know how much I wanted that job. but I had to act indifferent. I had to act like I was assured of myself, but I was really nervous. I was sweating. I embellished the hell out of my resume, too, by the way. I ain't incriminating myself, but we all embellish a little bit, right? But I walked literally. First interview was a phone interview, and I literally walked and walked. Wherever floor I was on, I done walked a hole in the ground because I was just that nervous all that week. I was antsy. I was anticipating the interview. I went over all of the series of questionings there. But after the interview, woo! I'm good now. Break out the champagne bottles and the Hennessy, baby. I'm going to get that job. I know I smoked that interview. And then 3 months went by and they didn't call me back. I was like, Lord, I walked the floor again. Before 2 or 3 weeks, I felt confident, the government moves slow. Then when I finally got the phone call, I said, ding, Lord, you got the job. Now we got to do a background check. I said, shoot, let me walk the floor again. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Shout out to you, Tyrone. It was me being transparent with all of you guys. Malik Hooker need to start over KZ and D. Wilson. Donovan Wilson played okay tonight. KZ, he going to give up some big plays. That's just KZ game. But he just a efforts guy, right? Have anybody been through something like that? Have anybody ever been through something like that? Use counter plays more, right? But, when you go to those job interviews, man, you feel nervous. You have the jelly belly. Shout out to you, Carl. Yeah. KZ is an issue. I feel you. We've been there. Shout out to you, nerdy guy. Appreciate everybody for jumping in. I appreciate y'all for being transparent. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. They still on commercial break. They're about to jump back in now. The biggest concerns, post me your biggest concerns in the chat. Yeah. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Brian Brothers and Ari Tempe from 105.3 The Fan. They do a wonderful job.
Momentum, giving us something to carry over into this to the new season, I guess you can say. And excited about the way that we finished this regular season, going 6-0 in the division, coming out here and doing this on the road. It was a great team win. Great for some young guys to get in and some different guys to go score touchdowns. And to get that record is cool. I mean, I think that says a lot about a team. Just to have that many guys score touchdowns is impressive. But honestly, none of it matters now as we look forward and we move forward to what's to come.
Mike McCarthy said that 37 touchdowns in a record-setting season is not bad for a guy that's slow.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, if I wasn't in one, I guess I could have done it a while back. But, pretty cool. Pretty cool to get a record like that. I mean, obviously knowing who's come before me and who's the play the quarterback position here before me. I'm just the beneficiary of a lot of hard work, great play calling, offensive line protecting, a bunch of different guys making plays. So just a stat, to be honest with you.
When did you know you got the record? Were you aware of it on the sidelines, or someone tell you at halftime?
No, honestly, when I just came off the field, they were saying congrats. I knew going into the game, obviously, there was a chance, but that's not anything I really think about. So
come on, Dak. Come on, man.
Yeah, just coming off the field, they said congrats, and I thought they were saying congrats for 5 touchdowns, to be honest, but then they informed me.
For him to get 1,000.
You know that record was at hand. Come on, Dak.
Yeah, huge for a guy to play through injury, a running back to play through a knee injury and put a brace on and just to keep grinding and keep doing everything he can to be there for his team and to give his best week in and week out. That was huge. That was huge for him, huge for the offensive line, huge for this team, for him to go out there and get that. And a lot of guys took pride in that. What's up, Sal?
How you doing?
Great.
What do you guys have to do to focus on?
He's smart, though. Yeah.
What do you think as a team you need to get better at, focus on, improve on?
Yeah, you just said it, focus, honestly. Just focus and take it one day at a time. The playoffs bring a great deal of excitement. Everybody knows what it means, but for us, it's about focusing day by day. And right now, we're going to celebrate this, have a good plane ride home. But as Coach said, when we touch down in Dallas, flip the script and understand what's ahead of us and just focus on improving week after week and taking it one game at a time and staying in the moment, whether it's at practice, whether it's a drill, that particular drill, whether it's a meeting. Take it one day at a time, and when we get to the game, just focus, be disciplined, and take care of business.
Are you already
Cowboy.
What they do? They
All right, there is Dak Prescott meeting with the media after this 51-26 win with Brian Broaddus, the Super Bowl winning NFL scout. I am Ari Temple. The postgame show is brought to you by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Miller time. You believe that Dak didn't know that he had the record when he threw the record touchdown pass?
Yes.
You believe that?
Yes.
What? Think about that?
Yeah, I think a lot of players. I think if you have a PR guy on the sidelines, a lot of times they could kind of be aware of, okay, that was the 50th touchdown pass. We need to get that ball. Oh, we need to do this, do that. I mean, the PR staff can send that down. They could send that down on the phone and say, hey, by the way, please let Mike know. Or if your PR guy's on the sidelines, you can hand the note to the head coach or pass the note along. I guarantee he didn't know that.
Come on, man.
All right, 877-881-1053 is the number if you'd like to get on the postgame show. But your biggest concern, Broaddus, heading into the playoffs?
It's the one thing right now to me that could maybe derail the whole season. And I say the whole season.
Don't let it come down to a big kick.
Yeah, don't let. And the guy's made some. He has made some kicks. I mean, you go back the Chargers game with time running out. I mean, this guy has made some big kicks. The New England, he had a big kick. I mean, he's made some kicks along the way. The problem is, like when you miss extra points, and then it turns and then it turns into chasing points, and then it turns into, oh, by the way, now you have to go for 2, and then you don't get the 2, and then there's a lot of things that kind of go into that.
Yeah,
and I'm not asking the guy to make 56-yard field goals every game.
Right.
I'm just asking him to make an extra point. I'm just asking him to make a 33-yard extra point. It's not unrealistic, or that's not overly.
No,
that's not
asking too much.
Yeah, it's not a huge expectation. It is a snap, a hold, and knock home a 33-yard field goal. But this kicker, and they, like I said, I think with Jerry and I think with Mike, I think they both kind of like, hey, this, it's about consistency. It's about playoff time. It's about this and that. But then you get Bones Fossil to walk out there this week with, coordinators don't talk on Monday. They talk towards the end of the week. And you get we had a back and this, and we're not being
back surgery in May.
Yeah. Well, then, okay, then this is where you should have
January.
This is where, as a coordinator, you should have then said, well, all season long, we need to keep a kicker on the practice squad.
Right.
And then, with Liam, who you had, he's now an active member of the Carolina Panthers, so you can't go back with a guy that's had some familiarity with you. That's the thing that concerns me, because this offense could play with anybody, this defense could play with anybody. I just don't want it to get derailed because of their inability to make extra points or make a potential game-winning field goal that way.
This team is really hard to read. Yeah, and I think that's why Brad's answer to this question spoke to me more so than maybe a specific answer, because it just seems as if there isn't a game script, quote unquote. Like if I didn't watch their wild card game and you just told me, hey, this is what happened, like there's just no scenario that I wouldn't believe. And I guess that's the thing that's tough. Like they could have a dominating defensive performance. I could also believe a recap of a game next week that's like, yeah, they gave up a lot of big plays and their defense wasn't able to hold. They've played really well in offense. I mean, also by a reaction to next week's game of their offense struggle. So it's like, I just don't. We have seen at times a dominating offense and a dominating defense. I don't know that we've seen it. I guess we've seen a couple of games with both of them in the same game. But I just think the inconsistencies of this team, it's like, what team are we going to get? What offense are we going to get? What defense are we going to get? Mm-hmm. That's the thing that I'm concerned about. 877-881-1053, 877-881-1053. Let's talk with Matt in Fort Worth. Go ahead, Matt. You're on the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Hey, guys. Good evening.
What's going on?
Hey, not much. I just had a couple of points. So sorry to go off topic. But Brian, I wanted to know what your opinion was about Van Der Esch's game. He actually, I thought, had a good game and a win.
Yeah, first time.
He was kind of forced to have a good game with linebackers being unavailable.
Right.
The other thing I have is about the seeding, and I see in order for Dallas to get the second seed, you have to have all three teams lose.
Right.
But when I look at it, Arizona can still win. That would put them at 12-5. Dallas at 12-5. LA and Tampa Bay lose. That puts them at 12-5. A four-way tie. Wouldn't Dallas get that second seed because of conference record?
Head to
Even
head.
if Arizona wins?
Head to head, right? Wouldn't that make Arizona? Where would that put Arizona?
He's saying it would give him a four-way tie. I mean, everything that I've read on this, and I suppose you can go through every tiebreaker.
Yeah.
The only way they get to the two is if all three of them lose.
Yeah, all three have to lose for the two, and then the way you get to three is the
two of them lose.
Yeah, you get a Rams victory, a Tampa victory, and a San Francisco victory.
Yeah, the caller's asking, in that situation where everybody's 12-5, how do the tiebreaker works? Because it's a four-way tie, and the head-to-head would it manage in that situation? I mean, without having dug through all the numbers, that what I read on this in terms of playoff scenarios, the Cowboys can get to the 2 seed with those three teams losing. So
that's the only. Yeah, you need.
So they must lose one of the tiebreakers there.
Right. Yeah, they do.
Let's talk with Jeremy and Keller. Go ahead, Jeremy. You're on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Hey, thank you guys for having me, man. I've been listening to you guys for a while. I have a couple of things. I think this game was really good for Dak's confidence. He was basically doing a 7-on-7 out there against the Eagles secondary. And also, the run game kind of scares me because I know in the playoffs, the run game and defense carries. Our run game is still not there where it's supposed to be. And also, Broadus, I know you say a couple things about the guys in the building as far as McAdoo and things like that.
Yeah.
I believe they should be helping more with Kellen Moore as far as just helping him with the offense, man, because I think it's too many offensive guys in there.
Sure.
And
they might be helping him, and it's not helping.
I mean,
that's something.
What are they there for if they're not helping?
Yeah,
is my question.
No, you might be. I don't think.
Thanks for the call, Jeremy.
Yeah, I don't think it's they're hiding out and saying, we're not going to. No, I think these guys are all sitting in meeting rooms trying to kind of figure things out, and maybe that's a little bit scary for you right now too. Mike McCarthy was a primary play caller for 13 years. Ben McAdoo was,
and he got the head coaching job initially for Green Bay because of his ability as a play caller.
Exactly. So to me, that's him, McAdoo, Doug Nussmeier. I mean, they've got offensive coaches. If Kellen Moore's struggling, the thing that scares me the most is what good defenses have been able to do to this offense. Whether it's play too deep, whether it's play robber, single high, light box, heavy box, blitz. That's the thing that
this guys.
Yeah, this teams have said, okay, we're just going to show you something and then back out and show you something else. That's the thing that why do you not have a plan for those?
Right.
Those
this
moments?
isn't the first offense to deal with the defense disguising its looks.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I worry about the Cardinals or I worry about the Rams.
They beat us by 3 points, man.
I think actually the Cardinals are probably a little bit more of a scary defense, even though you start talking about Aaron Donald, you start talking about the corners and stuff like that. Statistics will tell you though that the Rams are not as good as Arizona.
Cardinals win and a Rams loss means the Cowboys will play the Rams. A Rams win and a Cardinals loss means the Cowboys will play the Cardinals. If both of them win, I believe the Cardinals would be the team that the Cowboys would get. I think the Rams hold the tiebreaker, so they'd be the division champs, and the Cowboys would get the Cardinals.
Yes.
All right, Bobby Belt to come. We'll hear from him, Cowboys Insider for the flagship station of the Dallas Cowboys, 105.3 The Fan, as well as NFL Network. Plus, still to come, we'll hear from Tank and Zeke, plus Jaquan Hardy was with Zeke. All that on the way. But first, Geico, great news.
No doubt, Cowboy Nation. Look, don't fret, Cowboy Nation. I don't want you guys to be lost in the sauce while they go to commercial break. We'll jump back in a few. But let's keep things within in reasoning here. Yeah, the Cards didn't have all of their weapons there, but they still played their brand. They still played their scheme. So let's not get all into semantics here. But I'm gonna tell you guys, the Cards won by 3 points. Cowboys, let's know this right here. How many games did we got blown out on, right? I think I think it was the Broncos the only game that blew us up, right? We was pretty much in every game. Is that correct? Let me know. I could be off though. Let me know. We was pretty much in every game And the kicker, well, Kansas City Chiefs, they didn't allow us to do anything, right? We couldn't move the offense. And I think we shot ourselves in the foot in the Kansas City Chiefs game, but we did held them to no touchdowns, right? Only field goals or something like that, or they ran one in or something like that. 2 games. What was the other game? What was the other game we got, Jason? What was the other game that we kind of got like blew out in, you know? Well, if they want to do that one, then we can beat that one. Junior D says J.J. Watt. I love to roll J.J. Watt out there who didn't play all year, you know, and one can argue and say, okay, I know J.J. Watt or J.J. Watt, but roll him up out of there. Run at him. That's what you had to do before. We played against a healthy J.J. Watt before and beat him. So roll him up out of there. The Raiders, we lost by a field goal. We lost by the field goal. I don't think that there was any other game that we kind of got blown out of the waters out of, you know. It is what it is at this point. Raiders won by a field goal because the only reason why I remember that is because old boy did like this. Greg said, hey, man, if I make my kicks, we win. Greg said if he make his kicks against the Buccaneers, we win, right? Let's say he did it one more time against the Cards, those 3 games. Buda Baker made us look bad, BD Gray. You right. But what you got to do with Buda Baker? Run at him. That's what the Rams did. Shawnee Michelle and all of those boys, they ran right at him. You got to run right at him. Now, and I'm not saying that the kicker is the only reason why we lost. I'm not using him as the scapegoat. Don't get me wrong with that. I'm not using him as a scapegoat. Cowboys collectively on the offense, they was in the slump. Cowboys still the number 1 team in offense right now. There's not a team. This is the Cowboys' most scoring ever. You know, we went from worst to first. Last year we couldn't score a point. Now we calling all the shots now. Yes, Dre, we got to start the run first. Shout out to you, Callie. Appreciate you from the 805. Shout out to you. Yeah. 6 extra points. Law. Yeah, shout out to you, West _ Texas. We must, man, figure this thing out with our kicker. He got to be fluent. You know, he got to make sure they don't cost us the game. He shouldn't be a difference maker. He shouldn't be. Let me see the results of the people who feel that Kellen Moore should be gone. Yeah. Should we stick with Kellen Moore right now? Did he get it off of his mind? He got the interview. He walked the hole in the ground. He thought about his wife, his boo thing, basically. She probably looking at houses in Tampa, and she said, you know what? Now that we got that off you, let's focus in on winning this Super Bowl. Shout out to you, Vach. You know, shout out to you if he's here. Y'all be sure to check out Vach Lombardi's channel. Shout out to you, Matt Bailey. He said, Vach send you here. Shout out to you. Shout out to Vach Lombardi. Be sure to follow, subscribe, and hit that share icon on Vach Lombardi's page from the same hometown. They're still on commercial break, by the way. We just holding over till they come back. Y'all like this format? Let me know. Kellen Moore shouldn't rely on his win. I think it ran away from me. I think that the Dallas Cowboys should use what they did. Not saying that how they did. I want people to not look at the level of competition, but look at the concepts. Look at the concepts. Look at the philosophy of how they won. You know what I'm saying? East Camden said, keep them. I feel you, though. Ted Prickett says, what's up? Appreciate you. Yeah. They back from the commercial break, and we're going to pull them up in a few seconds. Yeah, so we're going to see what they had. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Be sure to hit that like button, share this content, and subscribe. If you have not subscribed and you right here watching.
Shame.
Bobby, what's up, buddy?
Shame.
Not much. That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
It was a fun game.
I mean, it's fun to score 50 points.
Yeah.
You had a lot of statistics coming fast and furiously in terms of records and whatnot. Can you run those down for us?
Yeah, let's open up Twitter so I can remember all of them because there were a lot that were going on. Yeah, we're just popping them off.
You in the round table. You had a big game for Cedric Wilson.
That's right.
Congratulations.
You had a big
Anytime
game.
You embarrass David Hellman that way, I'm all for it.
I will take it, especially when that guy didn't bring your Ziploc baggies. That guy deserved to get.
Listen, the running joke there is the pretzels in the press box at the link are incredible. Seriously.
Are they really?
Oh my gosh. And so Hellman and I had always talked about bringing Ziploc bags and just loading them up. That's we used to fly the charter. You know, they never check your food and all that. You can bring a bottle of liquor on there if you wanted to, but that was the thing that we were always talking about. Like when we went to Philly, we're gonna bring the bags so we could just bring a bunch of pretzels back. And he's told me they're now wrapped. So
probably COVID.
Yeah, probably COVID related. They don't want you going over there and sticking your big fat hand in there and grabbing pretzels.
I got to be honest. They had these cake balls for dessert at AT&T Stadium last week that were just
26.
so amazing that I grabbed one of the coffee cups and I put 2 in there. And I walked out with a coffee, just like, oh yeah, I got my coffee here, and it was actually 2 cake balls.
So like you're driving home listening to the post-game show and you're listening.
No, I literally
punishing cake balls.
No, I've made my wife so jealess about the macaroni there, and I can't just scoop macaroni into a coffee cup. Well, I mean, I guess I could.
Take some Tupperware.
But I should. But I when I had the cake,
I should.
When I had the cake, it just made me think about it. When I had the cake ball, though, I was like, this is I gotta. Like, I can't just rub this in her face. She has to try this. So I took it home so she could try it.
They do have good desserts there.
You're like, so I left AT&T Stadium with 2 cake balls, got home with 1.5. Or got home with a half, so.
No, I got home with all 2.
Nice.
But I ate the other one when I brought it home. I was like, here you go, but I'm eating this one. So that tells you how this game went. We're talking about taking press box food out.
I was just kind of vamping for you. I was vamping for you a little bit while you were finding your stats.
Yes, I've got a bunch of them here. First one that I think is really interesting, I don't know if you guys have referenced any of these. Dak is the first Cowboys quarterback to win every single start against the NFC East in a single season. So Aikman went 6-0, and then Garrett went 2-0. That was back when they had the 4 teams that they were playing against in the NFC East, back when Arizona Cardinals were nonsensically in the East.
Yeah, as if that made, like, as if the NFC East made less geographical sense before.
Exactly. But
well, they used to be the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, they were that, but that still doesn't make a ton of sense, aren't they? Isn't St. Louis still in the Central Time Zone?
Yeah,
I mean we are too.
Well, yeah,
so.
I mean, right. Dallas shouldn't be in the NFC East, but certainly the Arizona Cardinals, when they move from St. Louis to Arizona, should no longer be in the NFC East.
So, but Dak's the first one to do that since Aikman?
First one to do it, period, to win every single start in a regular season. Because Aikman didn't play 2 of them.
Wow.
Because Garrett started. But then, of course, they lost in the wild card round to Arizona.
Yeah.
But in the regular season, Dak's the first one to do that. Cowboys are just the 5th road team since the merger to score 50 points, pass for 300 yards, and rush for 170.
Wow.
So that's pretty impressive.
Here you go right here.
We've also got, this is the 5th time the Cowboys have scored at least 40 points this season. That's tied for the most in franchise history. They did that in 1971. And the next closest in the NFL right now is, I think, Buffalo and New England have done it 3 times.
Wow.
But Dallas did it 5 times this year. And then, you had the 37 touchdown passes for Dak. That was a record. Cedric Wilson, he finishes the season with 6 touchdown receptions. That's now 4 guys on the Cowboys offense that have at least 6 touchdown receptions, and that's tied for, or that's the most they've ever had in one season. And Dalton Schultz finishes the season tied for your team leader in touchdown receptions with 2 tonight. He finished tied with Coop at 8.
There you go. Dalton Schultz, he made me look like an idiot.
They did not have a receiver with
the only one Brian brought us.
Bobby, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Have we been too hard on Dak Prescott?
It's a great question.
No, because I think Dak.
I mean, as a media.
No, because I think Dak Prescott has. What did Dak Prescott say? The buzz line coming out of his press conference when he got the contract. He said, "Pressure is privilege. Yeah. I want the pressure. Turn it up. Do that."
See, I try not to focus on the money.
I know, and I'm not focusing. I'm just saying that when I know that was his line when he got the money was, "I welcome all pressure," and I think that
Let me see his stat line.
He's risen he rises his game consistently whenever the pressure's there. It's just this was the first stretch where he wasn't. And there seemed to be a lot of 2017 there was a lot you could point to. Tyron was out, Zeke was out. Right. The offense was kind of a mess to begin with.
He got 8 sacks in a game.
But this is the first time where it's just like, what's going on here? Yeah. But like, what exactly is happening? And I think that this is encouraging. You've seen some encouraging things, but I also don't think that Philly was necessarily showing you 11 guys at the line of scrimmage and then bailing out.
No, I'm not just talking about tonight, though. I'm just talking about, overall. even if Cooper Rush would have won this game, are we still too hard on Dak Prescott?
No, I think that you're holding him to the standard that he holds himself to, and that the Cowboys are probably holding him to. And I think he's frustrated, and I think I think it feels like we're being hard because you look at the numbers and they are gaudy, and and he had a really good season, but he definitely had his struggles. It's why you can't completely box score scout, because when you look at what he did on the field, there were some games this year where he had decent numbers. Arizona's one of them, where he wasn't playing great.
Right. Yeah. Like there were a few games there where if Dak Prescott makes some throws down the stretch, you win.
Oh, no, I was thinking of Kansas City was one of those things when you go, because
the Raiders, didn't they have the ball against the Raiders with the chance to win the game?
Well, they went to overtime, too.
I think
exactly. They had a chance at the end of the game to drive into,
If Dak isn't 5 for 22 to start the Denver game, your defense held pretty well for a good stretch and then kind of, I think, gave up at the end. But I mean, you're in that game if Dak's playing better. If Dak doesn't struggle in the first half against the Raiders, I think you're in that game. And
so being critical of him, we're actually being fair.
Yeah, I think we're just holding him to the standard that, like I said, he would hold himself to. And I think that's part of why we've talked about that this week.
Man.
He seems a little more frustrated with the media lately.
Oh, sure.
I think
he was short with us last week.
I think it's because he is frustrated with himself, and it's like, I don't need to hear it from y'all. I already know what it is, and just coming up here and hearing it from y'all is frustrating.
I'm not reading defenses according to you guys, kind of a thing.
Struggling definitely with some of these disguises, and I think he knows that, and I think he knows he needs to play better, and that was sort of just kind of. You remember we talked last year about Jerry kind of getting upset in that interview in the middle of the year when the things were going wrong with Mike Nolan.
Yeah,
it was like, you know what, he's not really targeting Slater or whatever because Slater's the bad guy. He knows that it's bad, and he's just frustrated, and that's where he's putting. I think that's similar to where Dak was, but good momentum to have going into the playoffs. Your red zone offense, which we've all complained about, they're 5th in the NFL now. They're 5th in the NFL in red zone efficiency. They went from 15th tonight up to 5th with 5.
What did you say? How many consecutive possessions, red zone possessions?
They're at 14 now. 14 straight red zone possessions with a touchdown.
Let me see if I can get his water intake.
See, and like,
there's some crazy stats. It's wild. Like the scoring differential. There's just some gaudy numbers.
Why are we on? But then why are we all over this team?
Because they've had 2 games, they scored 107 points in 2 games. Because they just had these ridiculously gaudy games, and high highs, low lows.
I mean, and it is a fair point to ask: Are we being too hard? Because I think that it is interesting when you look at Philly went on a strong run to end the season. They win 7 out of 10 to close the year.
This game could have been for a division title if they beat the Giants.
Dallas,
it could have been a completely different game.
We've been very critical of Dallas and talk about how Dallas is really struggling. Philadelphia's won 7 out of 10, and even with those facts, they won this division over Philadelphia by 3 games. That's impressive, and that's
doubled up the NFC East opponents.
Results matter. And so, I'd rather have this season where we're talking about this than 2019 where we're like, this team's so damn talented. How are they 8-8?
Right.
And so I think that there's a lot of encouraging things you can take out of this. I also think that, like I've told you guys before, the standard changed. Like the standard no longer was, let's be competitive with Tampa. Let's talk about moral victories. This was great. They were competitive.
Yeah.
The standard changed as the year went on, and they needed to be held to the standard of a top contender. They haven't quite hit that. But the good news, if you're looking for good news out there, there's really none of the top contenders that are hitting it.
But we give this offense no pass, do we?
No. The
defense, we're so happy that, oh my gosh, look what they've done.
But it's perception and expectations.
Bobby Belt is
I think it's fair, though. You've got all the money you've invested, all the draft capital you've invested, all these things like that. Then it's like, you know what? You need to be held to a standard where you can't have an entire unit struggling to put up points on the Broncos, and I understand they got a smart defensive coach and they're playing you a certain way, but you cannot have that when you have all that talent on the field.
Right. Biggest concern heading into the playoffs.
I did not like the way they played run defense. Like their starters out there. I understand they were missed. I think you saw tonight not only what it means to miss Micah Parsons in the run game, you saw tonight what it means to miss J-Ron Kearse.
Great call.
And what a good player that he's been. And it makes sense because you think of all these splash plays he makes at the line of scrimmage. He's such a good blitzer.
He's so physical.
And
He's a linebacker.
Yeah, and so
I wish Joseph would have come up with that ball early in that game.
that could have, I mean, it ultimately didn't mean much, but that could have ended the drive right there instead of turning into a 10-play drive.
For his,
because he's dropped two or three already.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, but I mean, we had 4 or 5 times last year where we were like, man, Diggs, can you just finish an interception? And then of course he comes out this year with so maybe that means Kelvin Joseph gets 11 interceptions next year.
I think you're on the same.
I think so. I'm calling it now. 11 Kelvin Joseph interceptions.
Maybe 11
next year.
in the playoffs. How about that?
That, you know what? Reasonable. I think that's reasonable. But no, I think that my biggest concern still, because I have yet to, out of all the questions we've had answered, or sometimes where we're seeing inconsistencies, I have not seen this team at all this season win a game where it was physical, where it was blue collar, tough, physical football. And that's scary to me because in the playoffs, it's only going to get more physical. And so I think you look back, what are some of the most physical teams they've played in this season? Denver, Kansas City, Arizona. And, you got to hand it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, well said. Bobby Belt, read his stuff at 1053thefan.com. Cowboys Insider for the Cowboys flagship 1053 The Fan and NFL Network. Thank you as always, Bobby.
I love you all.
Love you. Bobby Belt, the great Bobby Belt, joining us here on the Dallas Cowboys postgame show. Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, official pizza.
All right, Cowboy Nation, as they go to commercial break, they're going to listen to Tank, Zeke, and some more guys are going to be up next. Oh, Bobby with the love. Shout out to your controls, baby. Think about this, though. We didn't play without Parsons. They limit number 94 a little bit, and we didn't play with J-Rock, and Diggs wasn't out there. So when we think about that, Cowboy Nation, and then you got to give Anthony Brown. I don't think he didn't play either, right? So we got to look at all of those things on how the Eagles were able to run. I'm quite sure Parson would have sniffed out some of those run plays, So we got to put that into account, Is this team a team that can't shut down the run, can't stop the run against physical, aggressive opponents? We don't know. Like what he said, matching physicality, we haven't won that way. But I go back to saying that tonight, even though it was the JV squad, it was a start. It was a start. Now, my biggest concerns, the kicker, I'm going to say it 3 times. My biggest concern, the kicker, the kicker, the kicker. My second biggest concern is when the Cowboys bench Terrence Steele. Shout out to you, Kevin Richards, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for all you do, sir. Great season, great content. Appreciate you, man. Terrence Steele brings physicality, baby. So if Bobby Bell looking for physicality, Terrence Steele brings physicality. And when we look at, I was watching, this was when we on that 6-game winning spree. Now the first game, of course, you see the Buccaneers, but look at the physicality. Look at 78. When you look at 78, that brother, when we was on that 6-game skid, like running skid on the good way, spree, that's a better way to say it. He gonna bring the physicality. Watch 78, man. Just look for 78. I wish I had a bubble I could put over him. He gonna get physical. So they song to say, let's get physical, physical. If you want physicality, bring a guy in that's not afraid to match the physicality. And I don't think Tyron Smith got any dog left in him as it relates to the physicality after the play and I'm going to beat you up a little bit. That's not Tyron Smith. angle. But Terrence Steele, and I ain't talking about the reserve, he going to bring that physicality. He going to go down there and fight and play through the echoes of the whistle. Yeah, you can pancake a guy, pancake here, pancake there, kick him outside. He's going to do that. So, look at 78. So, playoff game next week. I'm looking at it like, man, you can't bench 78. You just can't. You can't bench him. I don't know how the Cowboys going to draw this out, but if you have your reservation on anything, you're going to have to put him out there. And I ain't placating saying that he's better than anybody, but if you want physicality, you want somebody there to fight. I'm calling him. I can't leave Terrence still in the car. I can't. I can't leave him in the car. We going to fight and going to war. I'm bringing him. He going to bring out. Whose spot he going to take? Oh, my gosh. Hey, JH, why you had to throw that at me, though? He said, who he going to take? I don't know, baby. But I got to have that. Look, I can't leave him in the car. Law, man, we finna go to the fight. All right. Tyrus Smith, come on. Zach Martin, come on. Lyle Collins, come on. Connor Williams, can you stay in the car right quick? Stay at the door right quick. Zach Martin, come on, man. Be honest, I really want to leave you, but shoot, you got to hold the ball. It's difficult, baby. But come on, 78, come on. Come on, we got to fight these boys. That's what I'm going to do. I can't leave that man in the car. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. If we finna get into the fight, we're going to leave that man in the car. No way. Ain't no way,
They said
man.
nothing was really etched in stone. They're going to play it, see how they feel, and they got through the game fine. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
gonna call
that's
Frederick,
really the
too.
most important thing. If it means
I might
getting
still call
through it
Big
and
Nate
having
Newton.
some confidence and feeling good flying home and turn the page when you get here tomorrow and kind of see where the strange lady takes us, and then, tomorrow night you'll know exactly where you need to go from there. And I think that's the good thing. And, for one thing, you got a home game to start this thing out.
Almost
And so, everything is at least pointing in the right direction
At 9 o'clock.
as we get ready for this week.
By the way, in terms of injuries, Keanu Neal, the Cowboys did announce that Neal suffered both an arm and shoulder injury, but didn't talk about the severity of it. Also, Christy Scales tells us that she asked a team doctor about Neville Gallimore. He said that he was dealing with a left elbow injury, the same left elbow that had him out for, 2 months of this season, but that he should be okay. So it does look like the Cowboys came out of this unscathed. Obviously, there's nothing that we saw during the game that stood out in terms of injuries, but a couple of injuries to note, and both of them at least sound okay.
Yeah, when you get to the playoffs, and hopefully things will take care of for the COVID guys, and then the guys that are also dealing with some, like Diggs,
Lingering, right?
Yeah, that might have the flu or something like that. That we don't know, strep throat. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing out medical things, but yeah, this is one of those times where when you get to the playoffs, it seems like nobody wants to miss playoff games. So I have a feeling the injury report might be one of those where you'll see the guys that get the normal Wednesdays off. They'll get their Wednesdays off, and then you'll kind of figure it out from there. But again, nobody wants to miss a playoff game, and so I think you'll have all hands on deck.
877-881-1053. That's the number you can call or text to get into the postgame show. 877-881-1053.
Water poison.
Let's talk with Jesse in Lubbock. Go ahead, Jesse. You're on the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Hey guys, just we had a quick conversation post game with some buddies. How they tried to tell me that Dak Prescott is not a top 5 quarterback right now, and
he hasn't played like it for a little bit though.
Right, but they were throwing out the names of Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, and I tried to tell them, I was like, yeah, but all of those guys' wins have been comeback wins, and they haven't been convincing wins like Dak has when he's won.
In what way?
Oh, just the amount, like passing yards, touchdowns that he's thrown. the red zone, how he's gone in there and
I'm a
just
weak
dominated
chugger.
when he's
AZ.
come in.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's the first half of the season. I totally agree with everything you just said. I think that the first half of the season and then the calf injury, and I think it took him 4 or 5 weeks to get back. I think you've had some games where if Dak Prescott was a little bit better, I mentioned Kansas City.
Lean forward, Cole.
But, he was good enough in the Raiders game to win. That was something that, they kind of got let down. That was the one game where I think officiating really did affect what was going on. The way that
54-32, yeah.
the Raiders
The
were,
flow.
the flow of the game was just not great. But, Dak Prescott's numbers were outstanding in that game. But, I'm looking forward to seeing how this playoff materializes for him. Is it the Dak Prescott the first half of the season?
How fatigued are you with this whole top 5? He's in the top 5.
I'm so tired of it. Give me the truth.
And just in terms of evaluating the quarterback position from an NFL fan perspective, it's so.
I always feel like, to me, when I was in scouting, we could have John Dorsey, John Snyder, Scott McLuhan, Reggie McKenzie, all of us sitting in the same room, and we could put a quarterback on the board, put a quarterback film, and you'd have 7 different evaluations of that quarterback.
Yeah.
And so when you get in an argument with somebody, don't look at it as an argument, but everybody has their preference. If you follow me on the draft show, my favorite thing to say is, what flavor of ice cream?
Right.
It's your flavor of ice cream is what it is. You don't have to get in an argument about where a guy is.
Is Joe Burrow a top 5 quarterback now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I love Joe Burrow.
He's had a fantastic season.
We had a discussion. I would probably take Herbert over Joe Burrow, and I love Joe Burrow.
Wow.
That's how much I think about Herbert.
So you did not like Herbert coming out, right?
No, I absolutely did.
Oh, you did.
He's one of the, him,
finished,
Mahomes.
baby.
I actually have hit on a couple of these guys. Davis Mills is a guy that I talked about in the draft show that I really like. 3rd round pick the Texans have. It's kind of making some progress.
Yeah.
So maybe this quarterback thing is coming around for me a little bit.
Get about being top 5. Shoot. Give me 12-5, baby. Yo, baby. We finished. We did it. Oh, there's a little bit left in there. Come on. I did it. Yeah, appreciate y'all for pushing me. Let's go. I don't like the conversation about being top 5, top 3, top 1. Look, Cowboy Nation, stop falling into the trap of trying to make sure that your quarterback is the prettiest thing out there. No. Let me ask y'all something. East Camden, for life, do you care whether or not Nick Foles was a top 5 quarterback, or do you care that he got the wing for you? Do you care that he won you a Super Bowl? Let me know, East Camden. I think you're an Eagles fan, right? Let me know if the Ravens care if Joe Flacco is a top 5, top 20 quarterback. No. All it's about is just winning the game. So many people get trapped into this thing of saying, hey, Dak Prescott deserves respect. He ain't a top 5. He can't top 10. He can't do this and he can't do that. It don't matter. It don't matter. It literally don't matter. Eli Manning versus Tony Romo, it don't matter. The Giants walked off there with 2 Super Bowls. 2. And every tape that I was able to see, I can bet you, I would take Tony Romo over Eli. But Eli had some good defense. He had a better structure as it relates to coaching staff. He had a better philosophy as it relates to the playoffs. There's nobody that's watching right now. Nobody that's watching right now that can pull up the tape in 2007 saying, I'm taking Eli over Tony. But the coaching staff, you give me that old grumpy coaching staff at the Eagles, not the Eagles had that year, but the Giants had that year, over Wade Phillips, Camp Cupcake, the dubs matter. Somebody posted earlier, Dak Prescott is 54-32. But what people will carve into your mind that Dak Prescott is 32-54 they would literally have you second guessing a quarterback that just went 6-0 in the NFC East. And they would tell each and every last one of you guys that this division is trash. When we got two teams that's going to the playoffs out of this division. We got a team, that was going to be, they won 9 games, and we got a team that won 12. Do you think that the Patriots fans, when they had Tom Brady and those first 3 Super Bowls that the kicker made, do you think that they're going to say, let's give it back? Oh, we had the deflate gate, let's give those rings back. We had the tape gate, let's give those rings back. No, they're going to take those things. And at the end of the day, they're going to say, the quarterback that they root for got 6 Super Bowls with us, and he went over there and got Tampa Bay, he got another Super Bowl. That's what they're going to say. That's what they're going to argue, left and right.
This year, the losses and stuff they've had, the bad losses and stuff have been at home, but the offense has really thrived at home. So I to be honest with you, I really don't know what to expect.
What do you do? I'm trying to explain, in terms of offensive schematics, and when somebody says that they're going to install new plays or game plans,
you probably have to come up with some wrinkles here and there. They're going to have to do something different because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think teams are going to let Cedric Wilson run around like he did tonight. I mean,
good.
That when they're going to force you to have to do some things. Now they might say, okay, we'll force you to, maybe teams don't respect Amari Cooper. Maybe they're going to take CeeDee Lamb out of the game. Maybe they say, well, we can't have Cedric Wilson be. I'll tell you another thing too is I don't think you can let Dalton Schultz catch as many balls as you do.
Then job will go
So teams are going to do things to you differently schematically, and you better figure out. But have the Cowboys all year done anything to really scheme Amari Cooper open?
No.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's the thing that bothers me the most. We say, oh, well, things will come around, it'll be okay, and you'll flip the light switch thing. Light switch should have been flipped 4 weeks ago when this team was struggling and they got tired of all our questions.
It's a ridiculous notion.
Yeah.
Brian Broadus, Tepke. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification or listen to the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Yeah. I mean, I love my guys, but we gotta make this thing a balanced approach, and then when they get back to it, then we can get back to this thing going. Yeah. We just gotta do that, Cowboy Nation. I promise you guys. If they run the ball, they'll get them out of those cover looks, bring it down. It's still talking about biggest concern.
Finish the season 12-5. 877-881-1053. 877-881-1053. Let's talk with Sean in Connecticut. Sean, go ahead. You're on the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Hey, guys. I'm a kicker and a kicking coach, and Greg Zuerlein's problem is actually very obvious to anyone who can look for it on video, and it's actually very easily fixable. The problem is he is picking his head up to look at the flight of his kick before he actually watches his foot strike the ball, which is the reason why most NFL field goals are missed. If you watch the video of his miss tonight, his 2 extra points in New York, his field goal early against Arizona last week, and even the long 40, 50-yarder he had at the Patriots early in the fourth quarter, he picks his head up early. He's not mentally tough enough to keep his head down and watch his foot hit the ball, and this is the most common problem that kickers have when they miss. And I don't understand how any coach on the team has not seen this on video and has not addressed it with him.
Coach, why then would you think they're talking about injuries and stuff like that?
It's not injuries.
That's what they're telling us.
Yeah.
That's what they're telling us.
Well, look,
you do sound like Tom Brady.
I went to the Giant game and I went to the Patriot game, and in warm-up, Zuerlein was making them back to 60 yards. His whole career, now, he recovered from his injury. His form is infallible. And when he makes contact, he's able to kick balls approaching 60 yards like he's falling out of bed. As any good NFL kicker could do, he has an exceptionally strong leg. In warm-ups, he makes the kicks no problem. In the games, when the kick means more, he becomes a head case and he picks his head up because he wants to see where the ball is going. If anybody can take their DVR, Just back up when he misses, and you'll see his head come up as his foot comes up because he didn't watch his foot hit the ball. It is so easily correctable if he just kept his head down for another half second and actually watched his foot hit the ball. Tomorrow night on 60 Minutes, Justin Tucker is going to be interviewed about this process, and this is what he says. He focuses on his technique, and he says he actually watches the ball being spotted by the holder. He picks out the sweet spot of the ball with his eyes very intently, and then he matches it up with his big bone of his kicking foot to match that sweet spot on the ball as he follows through. That's how you make a kick. You actually have to watch your foot hit the ball, and every time Zerline misses, take your DVR, back it up 3 seconds, and you'll see his head come up before he actually hits the ball. His first kick tonight, he kept it down.
Just like
because
Tom
I think
Brady.
he was trying. The thing is, he's capable of knowing this himself, but he's not able to resist the temptation to look up at his kick as it goes on because he's just not mentally strong.
Appreciate the phone call, Sean. In fact, you're hired.
He's literally is speaking some truth because every kick that Zerline missed was in big games. Oh my goodness, how they got
Bones Fossil.
Are you noticing that?
Yeah,
Greg Zerline is picking up his picking up his head to watch the flight of the football right as he kicks it, as opposed to keeping his head down.
That's a fair question. We'll get it answered.
877-881-1053 with Brian Broaddus. I am Ari Tepkin. Still to come. We'll hear from Take Lords, Cedric Wilson, CeeDee Lamb, all on the way. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Man, hey. Appreciate the donations, man. Shout out to you, JD from DC. Appreciate you for the super chat. Law, people are hating on Dak contract when they complain about his top 5 status. Oh, so that's what they're doing. They're hating on his contract. Appreciate you, JD from DC, man. And Brad says, I think he's looking for a rusher coming from the right and is trying to avoid the kick being blocked. This is from Brad Howard. Hey, all of the kickers, man, is out there, man. I really appreciate y'all insight to that because, your brother don't know how to kick a ball, I could be. I got a good foot. I might can kick it, but I never tried it. You know what I'm saying? I'm really, really puzzled by this. Think about it, though, Cowboy Nation. And this was my thought track a couple of days ago. I said, man, this dude is literally missing kicks in big games. Maybe he is a little worried, a little pressured. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. He missing those kicks. And that dude did sound just like Tom Brady. Tom Brady got that same little lingo when he talked. He dragged the end of the word there. Yeah, so man, this is remarkable. He's picking his head up. I never knew that. If you're a kicker and you watching this show, let me know, was he telling the truth? Like, you don't supposed to lift your head. You're supposed to keep your eyes on the target, find this sweet spot, find a sweet spot on the football, and then you make it. Busybody says, lawmaker film session on Greg, the chicken leg. Yeah, I need to look into that. Thank you for tuning in to the Law Nation film session. As you take a deeper look at Greg Zerline, missed kicks, let's pay attention to his head, Ray says that's false, okay. And let me see if somebody else says, kicking a ball requires a ton of mental toughness. It's not easy. This is from BD Gray. Hey, look, I don't know nothing about it. All I know is on Ace Ventura, the first one, Ray Finkel, when he missed the kick, well, laces in or laces out? Which one are he supposed to have it in? Laces in or laces out? That's all I know about kicking the football. That's all I know. I know how to catch it, nose the ball, grip the ball. The radio guy know that pressure is bad as an MF law. Yeah, pressure will bust a pipe. Pressure will bust it. Bust it. Bust it. That was the other girl. She was one-hit wonder with the bust it. Buzz it. Laces out. Yeah, Ray Finkel. Wait a minute. Was he a 49er or was he an Eagle guy, Ray Finkel? No, Ace Ventura. No, he had to be. He was a Miami Dolphin guy, right? And at the end, Ace Ventura beat the bejesus out of that Eagles guy. Who was in it? Y'all remember that? He was a Dolphin. Yeah. Ray Finkel. But he at the end, Ace Ventura beat the mess out of the Eagles guy, right? He was in there. He was like, it was Mike. He was trying to get a cup of water. He kind of shoo off the dove. So for Ace Ventura beating the bejesus out of, dare I say, that the Eagles mascot, let's do a moment of silence. Oh my goodness. Moment of silence. That was for Ace Ventura, Peck Detective. You know. Oh my goodness, man. Shout out to Ace Ventura, you know, Pet Detective. Oh my goodness, man. All right. They had to tell him to turn around, you know, at the end. You had to tell him to turn around. And he said, even though they got to be the worst case of hemorrhoid. Oh, my goodness, man. Ray Finkel, you know. Yes, indeed. They about to jump back on, baby. Appreciate you 24/7. Blue 5 to Emmett Smith in the Sigma's Founders Day, January the 9th. This is January the 9th today, 1914, Howard University, HBCU for life. You know, how about them Cowboys? Appreciate you, man. Shout out to all of the Sigma's organization out there. Yeah. Shout out to all of the Sigmas out there. Happy Founders Day.
Zero didn't pick that.
Are we
one?
throwing him under the bus?
No, I was just asking.
I mean, if we are, then yes, he picked it.
What was it? Was that the Whataburger play of the day?
Yeah, that's the play of the game. And if you don't like it, it was Zach Rowe that picked it.
No, I was just curious. I was like, that little toss to Clement.
I mean, that one, I think, because that was the record for Dak Prescott.
You know what? I was the one that suggested that.
You were.
That's, you know what?
I wasn't going to say anything because I thought you were about to, you know.
Nah. I was just having
mother bleep. Zach
I was just having fun with Zach. My man Zach deserves an award for dealing with us all year.
He does.
18 weeks of our guff, as they would say.
And an extra game.
Yeah.
I mean, an extra game, and then now a wild card game beyond that. I mean, this is a lot of guff he's got to deal with between the two of us.
Yeah. You shouldn't use the word guff. That's like an old man word.
Is it? But I think I was using it because you used it.
That's what I'm saying. But you should.
It's a great word, though.
You shouldn't do that.
What's a more modernized 36-year-old word?
Crap.
Yeah.
All the crap.
That one. Guff's a good one, though. I like it.
I got you.
It's a good one. 877-881-1053. 877-881-1053 is the number if you'd like to get into the postgame show. But let's hear from Cedric Wilson. Cedric Wilson has really picked it up of late, and he's going to need to be a huge piece to this Cowboys offense moving forward because of the loss of Michael Gallup. Here's Cedric Wilson after the game.
How much does this offense need a game like this? I mean, you guys had a 50 a couple weeks ago, but there's talk, what's wrong with the offense? Did you guys put some of that to bed tonight?
I mean, I feel like we just got to keep coming out every night and doing what we do best. And, I mean, obviously we displayed it tonight, but we got a couple big ones coming up, and that's the one we need to display it.
Dak was just spraying it all over the place today. CD, yourself, tight ends, Cooper, all that. When he's rolling like that and spinning it and the running game is running, how dangerous can this offense be?
I mean, you've seen it tonight. We can put up big numbers if we're all snapping, and we got a few guys in there that don't even get touches, and they were a part of the offense as well. So I feel like it goes to our preparation and practice when everybody gets in and rolled over into the game.
You scored. I think you have 6 touchdowns now this year, and when you come in, it just seems like you just pick right up. What is that mentality like that when you get in there, the offense is going to just continue to thrive and maybe even get better?
It's just preparation. I practice hard every day, and when it's game day, I just rely on my preparation.
All right, there is Cedric Wilson along with Nick Eatman from DallasCowboys.com.
Yeah, my man Nick was peppering them with the questions.
You like the aggression there from Nick?
I love it. Yeah.
4 receivers, including Cedric Wilson, with at least 6 touchdown catches this year. That's a Cowboys record. A lot of records for the Cowboys this season. Let me ask you this. Is Cedric Wilson better than Michael Gallup?
No.
He's different. I'm trying to figure out a way to...
Maybe throwing the football.
Does he do things that are that are better than Gallup?
Yeah. Okay. If you want to talk about it, okay. Parcells used to talk about this, and I'm sorry, folks. If you're hanging out with us after midnight, you have to put up with my garbage sometimes. But we're
nothing that comes out of Bill Parcells' mouth.
But me telling the Bill Parcells story.
There's nothing garbage about that.
Parcells used to say, "Hey, how many plays am I going to get if I take you to the game?" You know. And so you're only going to get so many plays from Michael Gallup. Now those might be, some of the best plays your offense is going to run all
Meaning
night.
in terms of, hey, on these plays, Michael Gallup can be out there for them.
But you think about what you're getting with Cedric Wilson, and I do believe this about Cedric Wilson, that if Cedric Wilson plays 20 to 25 plays, 30 plays, it's better than for him playing 50 plays. Because sometimes maybe the ball, maybe there's a drop, maybe it tips off his hands, maybe he doesn't adjust like he needs to. So it's those 20, 25 plays on offense, but then it's the other stuff I'm going to get on special teams. It's going to, there's always something more you're going to get from Cedric Wilson. And that's what makes him a unique player. And the fact that he can line up at all the spots, people, we always like to say, oh, well, he's got position flexibility, and you say that, and people roll their eyes like, "Yeah, we hear it all the time." And
Cowboys have been saying it for years.
And the guy plays 1 position, 2 positions, 3 positions, and he's bad at 2 of the 3 positions. Right. And he just needs to play the 1 position. This is a guy I think that you could put at 3 different positions, and he'll be fine. But the fact that you could also use him on special teams as a returner as well. By the way, we need to talk about this, Clement. Returning kicks, something different needs to happen there. Our teams are just going to kick it short, and they're going to pin the Cowboys inside the 20.
Yeah, what do you think from Corey Clement when he...
well, I will get to that in a second here, but
I want to finish your Cedric Wilson thought.
Yeah, I just feel like that Cedric, I think he's more talented than Michael Gallup? No. But when Parcells talked about taking players to the game, he had Cedric Wilson in mind.
All right, so Corey Clement then.
Yeah, and I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming him, but okay, when you have Tony Pollard, there's the threat of a return. We've seen it with our own eyes. We've seen a kickoff return for a touchdown. And when it gets cold and it gets, windy and they kick the ball short, teams are going to, that you're going to have the opportunity to return. That's where the ball needs to be out to the 40-yard line. Somebody's going to kick it short. Tony Pollard will get it out to the, 38, 40, 45-yard line for you. But with Clement, it's just kind of basic. It's kind of not really, it's like straight ahead.
You're struggling to get to the 25.
You're struggling to get to the 25. And I think teams are going to look at that and they're going to say, why kick it out of the end zone when we could kick it to him at the goal line and he's only going to bring it back to the 21 or maybe even the 20 if we cover well enough.
Here's the other question we need to know, and that is, what window will the Cowboys be playing next week? So not only what team are they going to play, but what window? So NFL Super Wild Card Weekend, because it's not just a wild card weekend.
I've got.
It's a Super Wild Card.
Yeah, I've
weekend.
got some thoughts about this. Believe it or not.
So of course, Saturday, January 15th, a week from tonight.
These are my projections. I know nothing.
3:35 Central Time. The first playoff game Saturday afternoon. This is traditionally the worst game.
Cincinnati and Indianapolis playing right
Boom.
there.
Lock that one in.
That's the one. Yeah,
Cincinnati and Indianapolis. Okay.
Yeah. Saturday night,
7:15 Central.
Tampa Bay and Philadelphia.
Okay, Tampa and Philly.
Yep, got that one.
Any rhyme or reason for why you think they get that window?
I think it's one of those things where it's going to be a national that last game.
You had an AFC game earlier,
yeah,
so you're going to have an NFC game.
Yeah, the thing about it is I kind of feel like that's going to once again showcase. They're going to let Brady and them get off to the start, even though they're the Super Bowl champs. They're going to make them kind of start the tournament off.
Yeah,
and I think that you mentioned the cold weather game you're probably going to get in Cincinnati. So they'll turn around and have it a nice, beautiful night in Tampa, and they'll be really, really happy. So my prediction was Tampa, Philly for that one.
Sunday, January 16th, a week from tomorrow, 12 noon Central Time.
I went New England and Buffalo there.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's
right. Like two slobber knocker type teams playing against each other. The weather will probably be really horrible in Orchard Park.
Right.
It could be a nighttime game. That could be because NBC traditionally has that late game. They used to have it on Saturday night. Now they have it on Sunday. Because they love the tuck rule game, where it was snowing and conditions were horrible. But I think they want to make sure that they get that, because last time we saw Buffalo and New England play in Buffalo, they ran the ball the weather and all that. So I think they probably want to have the early game to try and help the fans there.
All right, and of course, all these matchups subject to change.
Yeah,
these
are just my guesses. This is nothing I know.
Given what transpires tomorrow, 3:40 Central Time on Sunday. This is the fourth game of Super Wild Card Weekend.
I went Arizona because I think they're going to win.
Hey, guys, we got to roll. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. There will be some more concept of this conversational piece at the end, but I promise you, Cowboy Nation, let's continue to grind and shine. I really, really, really do appreciate each and every last one of you all. We will kick open Victory Sunday. I got the little one over here. I got to take care of her. So I really appreciate you guys, and thank you for understanding. That's been my time. I really, really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. Let's go.